Here is an exercise that we call widening circles. We also call it sometimes 4 voices, because this process allows people to speak about an issue they have chosen in 4 different voices. And in the process of doing that, they widen their notion of their experience of self. They enlarge it to be able to speak not only on their own behalf, which they do first, having selected an issue that really matters to them. It could be an environmental issue or a social justice issue, something that matters. They speak to it in their own voice. And then they're invited to speak to the same issue from a perspective that is diametrically opposite, from the perspective of an adversary, someone they know or someone that they just imagine. And then we widen the sense of self and its capacities even more by speaking beyond the human realm, by speaking on behalf of a non-human being, a plant or animal or feature of the earth that is affected by this very issue. And fourthly and lastly, we invite them to move into the future, to identify with a being of the 7th generation and look back on this time, one who is affected by this issue. What do they have to say about it? So because this requires a person to talk for a good 15 to 20 minutes as they go from one person to another, with being reminded and guided at each stage, we gather people in 3s. If we gathered people in foursomes, it would take too long. So in this footage that follows, you will see me guide people all the way through, again and again with each voice, because the concentration this process demands is very great. And I want them to be able to just relax and know, be told when and how they move to another perspective, to another voice. Widening circles comes in the 3rd part of the spiral, when we learn to see with new eyes. It helps us to loosen and broaden our sense of personal capacity and our sense of self. But it's also a standalone exercise. You can choose to do that in a class or a lecture hall or an evening meeting, as long as you have a good couple of hours. They will love it. You will see me inviting people to thank each other for having made this effort, because I consider this a brave act that brings enormous rewards. To learn to speak as an adversary without sarcasm or exaggeration or stereotyping is an act of generosity that also helps move us beyond fear. To speak as a non-human being moves us quickly beyond an anthropocentric point of view without our even using that word. And then to move forward in time and speak as a member of the 7th generation looking back who was affected by this issue enlarges people's context of time in a way that can be lasting. May the work we're about to do, the honesty and intentionality with which we do it, serve the self-healing of our world. Let the person who is ready begin, and he will speak from your own perspective about the issue on your mind. You will let each other know who wants to go first.
How long? About?
Well, I will let you know, but you have roughly 2 to 3 minutes.
Reality is too painful.
fathers and grandfathers forever, and they don't know
Just let yourself finish. Give yourself time to finish. Now I am asking you, take a deep breath and move your perspective like 180 degrees. Think of someone, it could be you, given different circumstances, who views this issue, this situation, entirely differently from you. You will find the hugeness of heart-mind to entertain not only that perspective, but to give voice to it. And see if you can do it without stereotyping or sarcasm. It's okay if a little creeps in. Let's not ask the impossible.
I am the president to take out the discharges that we can't take out right now.
Thank you. Now open your mind yet wider to move beyond your human identity. Invite in a member of a brother-sister species who is affected by this situation. Identify yourself and speak about it.
I don't really know what's going to happen because how is this going to end up?
Thank you. Now let your awareness stretch forward in time into the times that will be inhabited by future generations. You're going to go forward by your imagination, seven generations, and speak on behalf of a human living then who is affected, who may well be affected by the issue of your choice.
Are you mad at those people who said that? Yes, thank you. That's a good question. Sometimes I'm very, very angry. How could they not have known what they were doing? Thank you for asking that.
Now please take a moment to thank the person who has just spoken for their generosity in letting other voices come through them to the best of their understanding. And now we move to the second person.
Because we know what happened. So it's a strange city, but it's a very modern city. I like it. We're no longer willing to.
So take time to thank each other and appreciate each other for allowing these voices to come through. Each of you have done what our species may get better at doing, actually. This is a way of listening to Gaia, a very different way from the truth model, but a way of hearing, trying to open our minds and our capacity to imagine the real. Because reality has become hard in itself to even take in. So you've been doing that, and you've been doing that with the agility of adopting various perspectives. So we're late for lunch, but I'd like to take time for, if there are 2 or 3 of you who have any reflections you would like to share about the process or about your experience.